is Princey, Associate Professor in Mental Health Nurse. You have learned about the mental status examination, wherein you're going to find out what is the status of the mind in the wider aspect in terms of general appearance and behavior, the speech, the cognition, the thought, the perception. But we have got another examination which is known as the mini mental status examination. We can call it as a miniature of the mental status examination. So today the topic of discussion is the mini mental status examination. Right. So what is the meaning of mini mental status examination, MMSC? And it is mini mental status examinations, otherwise called as Goldstein's test, which is including a 30-point scale, which is widely used in the clinical as well as research settings to identify or to monitor the cognitive impairment, or we can say in case of the dementia, right? So what is the indication of this mini mental status examination? So it is widely used in the medical field as well as in the varied allied health sciences to find out or screen for the cognitive impairment, which is the dementia. What are the components of the mini mental status examination? The components of mini mental status examination includes the orientation, the registration, attention and calculation, recall, as well as the language. So based on these 5 components, the 30 score has been divided or segregated, right? So if the person scores or individual scores one right answer for each of the question, he will get a score of 1. So likewise, this mini mental status examination includes 30 questions for which the patient has to answer, and we will get a score at the end of the assessment. So based on the score, we will be doing the interpretation and categorizing the stage of the dementia. So that is what is done in the mini mental status examination. So let us see what are those components in detail and some questions or examples within each of these components. The first component is the orientation. So the orientation includes the 2 types. One is the temporal orientation. The second one is the spatial orientation. The temporal orientation includes 5 questions for which the patient has to give the response. So it includes the questions in terms of the time, right? What you can ask the patient, what is the time now? Or what may be the appropriate time now. So if the patient answers to the questions correctly, you will be giving 1 score for each of the question, okay, which is answer. So the second question is, you can ask what is the day? What is the day today? What week is it? What is the month? So what is the year? So in terms of the timing, you can ask 5 questions which will give you the score of 5. The second one is a spatial orientation in terms of the place. Okay, in terms of place, you will be asking questions, right? You can ask him what place is it? Okay, where is he living? The address of a particular place where is he staying? The location, or what town is it? What city it is? What is the state? So that kind of questions you can ask to assess the orientation to the place. So the orientation aspect will have a total of 10 scores. If the patient answers correctly to each of the questions, you will be giving the 1 mark for each of the right answer. The next component is the registration. Registration includes a score of 3. So here, how will you do the test? So you will be telling the names of the 3 objects, and you will ask the patient to repeat the names of the 3 objects. If the patient gives the response correctly, then you will be giving the score of 1 for each right answer. Say for example, you say the names of the object like pen, pencil and paper. Whenever you say the names of the object, you see to it that there is a gap of 1 second between the names, right? So you can say as car, was, watch. So like that, you can give any 3 objects. The patient, if he says the names of the 3 objects correctly, you will be giving the score of 3. So the next component is the attention and calculation. So here the score for this component is 5 points, right? So here you will be giving the calculation for which he has to pay the attention. Say for example, you will ask him to minus or subtract 100 minus 3. So you will get an answer of 97. So again 97 minus 3. So you will get an answer of 94. So likewise, you can give him a series of 5 numbers that he has to subtract. Or you can give him as 100 minus 7, which is 93. Again 93 minus 7, which is 86. So like that, a series of 5 subtraction that you can give. If the patient is able to concentrate and give the right answer, you will be giving a score of 1 for each right answer. So total of 5 series that you will be doing. So you will give a total score of 5 points to the attention and calculation. So next one is recalling. So recalling is nothing but it is related to the memory of a person. So you're going to assess the memory of a person, right? You will be asking the patient questions like, what are the names of the 3 objects which I had just told you? So if the patient gives the answer correctly, then you will be giving the score of 3. The next component or the last component of mini mental status examination is the language. So when I say the language, we have got around 10 different points. Showing any 2 objects and asking the patient to name the object. So the score for this is 2 points. So you will be showing any object which is there and you will be asking the patient to tell the name of the object. You can show a watch, you can show a pen, you can show a pencil, whatever it is. So if the patient answers the name of the particular object correctly, you will be giving a score of 1 for each of the right answer. The total score for naming the object is 2 points. Next thing is you will ask the patient to repeat whatever you are saying. So this particular question carries 1 mark, right? Say for example, you tell no ifs, ands or buts. So patient has to repeat the same thing. If the patient says the same thing correctly, you will be giving a score of 1 point. Next thing is the 3-stage command. So 3-stage command, each stage carries 1 score. So the total score is 3 points. So the 3-stage command that you can ask the patient to do, right? So you can ask the patient to take the paper in a right hand, fold it into half and put it on the floor. So if the patient does this particular action correctly, the 3-stage command, if he follows, then you will give a total score of 3. If he is missing any of the stage or if he's not doing, so based on that you will be giving the scoring. So next one is the writing a complete sentence. So here this making a sentence carries a score of 1 point. So you will ask the patient to write any sentence which is making the sense. So you will be able to analyze the sentence. The grammatical mistake and errors is neglected. So we can see to it that the sentence should make a sense. So if the sentence is making a sense, then you give a point of 1 score. So next is reading and obeying. So this also carries a score of 1. So in this particular test, you will be writing on a blank paper, you will be writing a particular sentence and the patient has to read the particular sentence and do the action or do whatever is written on the paper. So whatever you write should be, in a bold letters and it should be legible and clear, right? So you can write, you take a white sheet and you can write a sentence in the bold letter as close your eyes. So patient has to see it and also he has to obey the thing which is written. So if he sees that and he obeys or he closes his eyes, that is he is following the command, right? So you give a score of 1. The last one is copying a diagram. So in this copying a diagram, you will be showing or drawing a diagram which is a pentagon and it is intersecting. You can see here in the image a pentagon which is intersecting, okay, 2 pentagons. If the patient is able to draw this diagram, taking into mind the the length of the each side and whether all the sides are having the same number, both the pentagons, and it is intersecting, he writes it correctly, then you will be giving a score of 1. So this is the test for the language. So the whole component of language carries 10 scores. If the patient answers to this particular mini mental status examination gives a response accordingly that you will be giving the score or points to the patient. So likewise, you can see here in the image, I have given some examples of mini mental status examination, the questions that you can ask. Right. Now, how should we do the interpretation of the mini mental status examination? So, as I told you, this whole mini mental status examination has got a total score of 30. So, based on the score, what the patient gets, we will be categorizing or interpreting the cognitive impairment, the level of the cognitive impairment. If the patient scores 24 or more than 24 out of 30 score, then it can be categorized as having a normal cognitive function. Right. If the score is below 24, then the patient is having the impairment in the cognition. So the stages of the impairment and how the scores are interpreted is as follows. If the patient scores less than or equal to 9 points or 9 score, then you can categorize that the cognitive impairment is severe. If the score is between 10 to 18 points, then you will categorize it as moderate cognitive impairment. If the score is between 19 and 23, then you will be categorizing the patient as having the mild cognitive impairment. So this is the interpretation of the scoring. So the normal score is 24 and above out of 30, and if the patient scores less than 24, so based on the scoring, you can categorize the cognitive impairment as mild, moderate or severe. So it is mainly specially used to identify or screen for the dementia, right? So the person with dementia comes in, then you will be doing this mini mental status examination within short duration of time to find out what is the level of the cognition. Right. Hope you all have understood the topic. Thank you.